the government points out that Bitcoin has been used in notorious and nefarious transactions like narcotics. Stevens Inc., investment managers in San Francisco, have pointed out that the US dollar enjoys a 99.99% market share in notorious and nefarious activities. So with any luck, the Fed will shut down the real source, the real mechanism of exchange in things like heroin.
We're coming to the end of this panel. Has anybody got any good news?
Yeah, I mean, the good news is we're better at this shit than they are. You know, if you look around, there's all sorts of free market transactions that take place. You know, as an example, the federal government, 50 years ago, declared war on drugs. Price of high-quality heroin is the lowest it's been in 50 years. I mean, we're winning. There's 400 million handguns in private circulation. They hate that. We're winning again. And here, on the serious side, when I figured out how to spell libertarian, Murray Rothbard, who I had the great pleasure to know, said that the whole community could fit in his apartment. There's one organization now called Students for Liberty, which started 8 years ago with 7 kids at Georgetown University. There's 110,000 of them. I mean, the good news is the demographic that Mr. Maloney talks about, you know, we old dinosaurs, the baby boomers, the guys who screwed everything up. The really good news is over time we're dying, and the generation coming up behind us is pretty goddamn good. I mean, I see a lot out there to like.
I don't know, Greg, you were telling me.
I mean, I would only add that the good thing is you can own gold and silver. So when I look at, we talk about, you know, the little bit of a conflict in seeing a deflationary environment and owning gold and silver. One of the reasons I like it right here is the technical picture is so concise, clear-cut. The long-term technical structure of this market has provided you lows that have just been created here against which you can own gold and silver. And if we're wrong and if everything does go down, and it's a situation, again, where gold and silver just go down less than everything else, you're going to have lows that are going to be very telling, which if violated will mean you're wrong. So to me, you know, this is a very well-defined risk-reward ratio in owning precious metals. And the only thing I would add is very interesting comments, Mike, about the derivatives. We talked about this in my speech yesterday. The creation of additional derivatives on bank balance sheets in the last 18 months has been around $11 trillion. And that has single-handedly driven profits of banks. When you break it down, the FDIC reports this data. You can see how much of bank sector profits come from derivatives activity, and it's the lion's share of their profits. So, you know, and those derivatives are mostly held in fixed income derivatives. So, you know, wow, talk about, again, walking a tightrope across the Grand Canyon is what the Federal Reserve is trying to do to manage these banks, which are in fact too big to fail, and how this all plays out, you know, is really one of the more frightening plays that we're going to be witnessing.
There is a bright side to every disaster, though. Because what he's talking about, there's a disaster coming someday. But this is the first time that this is all going to happen globally. There's been currency crises here and there before, but it's never occurred all over the planet at once. And that means that this time, the downside, if you're on the wrong side of the trade, is magnified many, many, many-fold. But so is the bright side. And so I believe that this is still the greatest opportunity in history. There's never been a time, there's a scenario presented to mankind where an individual could become richer than in the next few years here. This really is the greatest opportunity in history.
Mike, do you have any comments? Michael?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that there are real headwinds. And if you can sustain yourself through the next couple of years, I think that I agree with both comments here. But the seeds are being sown now for tremendous wealth creation. And so I think instead of worrying about, you know, trading into this or that this week or next week, I think we have to be cognizant of deflationary headwinds. I think they're very strong. I think it's very soon. I think there's a very big correction coming in the capital markets, both the bond market and the stock market. And I can just tell you, I'm a consultant to the Comex in New York, and they, individuals on the Comex, they're buying all the gold they can buy right now, every one of them. And so, so they're looking too. So I think the seeds are being sown for great wealth creation. I think in the short term, I think it's going to be bumpy. It's going to be really bumpy.
Well, gentlemen, thank you. It's been a good conference, a little better than we thought. We came down in these market conditions. I want to tell you that next January, Cambridge House will be celebrating its 20th year, and I think we are going to be letting you in if you have a 1/10 of a gram of a gold bill here for the people out here at Orem, and that's a very creative thing I think they're doing, and how you can work with gold. Thank you for coming. We look forward to being back here again next year.
I think that what's going to happen is that we're going to have Ben Burn the Currency Bernanke as our next Fed head. We're going to have the housing bubble pop. There will be a contraction in the M3 money supply because of all the tsunami of bankruptcies that's coming.
I think your episode 4 is very beneficial, very helpful. It's going to introduce these ideas to a lot of people, and like I've just been talking about, we have to change people's mind, and the more they understand it, the better. So I think an explanation and diagrams to show it is very helpful, because quite frankly, they're not going to get it in their grade school, they're not going to get it in their high schools, they're not going to get it in college unless they're in a very rare circumstance to understand how this works.